Hello everyone. So welcome to the next session in our Modern Indian History course. And today we'll be discussing the session number 44, that is the Quit India movement. Basically Quit India movement, and after that see Rajagopali formula and going forward. Already in various sessions I have told you that 1940s decade is very critical and very important. A lot of events are happening parallelly and we need to keep a track on it. First, we'll try to finish the political activity at once till independence. Then some of the things that will be left out, we'll take it over later on. First, let's take a summary of the session. So till now, where we are, what we have done, we have seen that is the first debate. Again, coming back to it, after the CDM has been withdrawn. So three options, then Government of India Act very quickly. Then second debate, whether to accept office or not. Then Congress ministries. Then after the Congress ministries, what happened? World War II. And unilaterally, Lin Lithgow says that Indian government is a party to the war. Then Congress ministry resigns. Right. After the resignation, again the question is still there, that what to do with this respect to war. Then British also wanted that they send this August offer. August offer was rejected, and in India, this Congress launches under the leadership of the Gandhi, that is individual satyagraha. Individual satyagraha, we have discussed in the last session that it was more of a golden mean between the mass scale satyagraha and doing nothing. Then after the individual satyagraha, this is where we are. Still, it is the initial days in the World War II. 1 to 2 years have been passed. Hitler is gaining ground, and now the government wants that we want some sort of a support from the Indians. Now the Britain will be under pressure to seek support from the Indians again. Hence, the government will send the Cripps mission, in India. Cripps mission will come. They will offer something. There will be some stand of Congress. There will be some stand of the Muslim League. Nothing will happen because Cripps has an attitude, take it or leave it attitude. There is no negotiation attitude is there. Then it will fail and the Indians will be highly disappointed. They will launch the Quit India movement post the failure of the Cripps Commission. Then they'll launch the Quit India movement. Quit India movement, very extensively, the movement will take place. After that, so period of negotiation will start again. There will be C. Rajagopali formula, Rajagopalachari formula. Every people will give how the transfer of power is supposed to take. But what is this Cripps mission and August offer are trying to do? They are trying to do few things. First, they are trying to do how the transfer of power will take place, or whether it should take place or not. What is the future constitution? How the future constitution of India will look like? Future of Indian constitution. How this future will look like, and then how the division is to take place between the Congress and the Muslim League, or between the various political party, and how the British are able to extend as much as possible their reign in India, as much as possible. So we have discussed the strategy of delay and denied, right? Delay and divide, sorry, not denied, delay and divide, and then denying, obviously. So this is the strategy this is the framework within which the British are working. Then after the C. Rajagopalichara formula, Desai Liaquat Pact, very small, some very peripheral news. Then from the British side, Wavell Plan will come. And this is where we will end our session also. Okay? At the Wavell Plan. To today's session, this session will be it's an important session and relatively long session. In the next session, we'll talk about the story at the other side of the world. That is the Indian National Army, that is Azad Hind Fauj. Let us start. So in March 1942, Cripps mission, a mission led by the Stafford Cripps, was being sent to India with a constitutional proposal to seek the Indian support for the war. Cripps was basically, there was a war cabinet which was made. War cabinet means comprising both conservatives and liberals. Because this was the moment of the war. You require the support, and I'm talking in the Britain. You require the support of both the political parties, both conservative as well as liberals. So they had a war cabinet. And within war cabinet, we know the liberals are supportive of the, not liberals, this is labours. Conservative and the labours. The labours are supportive of the Indian cause, or at least sympathetic to the Indian cause. And conservatives led by Winston Churchill, very not sympathetic with Indian cause. So the Cripps belong to this labor camp, member of the British cabinet. the leader of the House of Commons and a member of the British War Cabinet, who actively supported the Indian national movement. Now, this was the context. Apart from the German threat, okay, sorry, Mm, we'll see this map again in our next session. This map supposed to be, we'll discuss this map again in the INA class, don't worry. Now, next question is why the Cripps mission was sent? What was the need of sending the Cripps mission? Few reasons. First, the reversal suffered by the Britain in South in the Southeast Asia, and the Japanese threat to invade India seem real now, and Indian support become crucial. It was not in INA. There also we have to discuss. Now, the Japan is also expanding in the from one place to the other. They have taken over this. They are taking over this. Until 1944, they have reached Burma. We'll see it again. So this Japanese invasion, Japanese are very quickly taking over a lot of places here. Now, what they are extra doing apart from taking over these places, for example, let us say there is an English troop. They have defeated them. But within this English troop, there will be two options. This English troop will retreat or they will become the prisoner of war. Retreat means from there they will go. Japanese coming here, they will go here. Japanese come here, they'll go here. They'll come here, they'll go. One option is retreat. Second option is killed, obviously killed in the war or the battle. And the third becomes the prisoner of the war of the Japanese. And these prisoners of the war, and mainly these were the Indians. And later on, these prisoners of the war will go on to become the Indian National Movement, Indian National Army, Azad Hind Fauj. We'll discuss that. Chalo. So it was looking that this Japan can strike the British India from this portion through Burma. So they wanted the Indian cooperation. There was pressure from the on the Britain from the allies USA, USSR, China to seek the Indian cooperation. Indian nationalists agreed to support the allied if the substantial transfer of power is being given. Indian always had that position because they can see that how this fascist propaganda is working, how the fascists are working. Fascists are very quickly gaining ground, and fascists are very dangerous for the whole world. What were the main proposal of the Cripps? There will be some advancement over the August offer, and we'll see how it will be an advancement over the August offer as well. Okay, let us look at it one by one. First, they'll say that one Indian union will be made. Okay? One Indian union will be made. You can imagine Muslim League will say, Indian union, we don't like the idea. We will later on see the response of the Congress and the Muslim League as well. So the Indian movement union will then dominion status will be given. Now again, where they are talking about the independence, or again they are saying dominion status. Problem. Free to decide its relation with the Commonwealth means the British Empire. It can withdraw from the Commonwealth. It can become the part of the Commonwealth, whatever it wants to do. Free to participate in United Nations and other international body, then that's fine. So this is the first proposal of the Cripps mission. Second proposal, that after the war, Constituent Assembly will be made. Constituent Assembly will be made. And this Constituent Assembly will be made by solely of the Indians. Indians will be there, only Indians will be there. And this time they have given a concrete design of the Constituent Assembly as well. Concrete design. For concrete design means they said, okay, bhai, the members will be partly elected and partly nominated by the princely states and elected by the provincial assemblies through proportional representation. Not directly elected, but whoever elected at the provincial level, they will elect the people to be sent at the Constituent Assembly level. Third, British will accept the constitution which will be framed by the Constituent Assembly under two conditions. First, any province which is not willing to join can have separate constitution. So a kind of a separatism or secession is hinted. Muslim League will like it, and the Congress will say, no, this is wrong. This again contains the blueprint of the partition, and they can form their separate union. And they will say that the The British government and the constituent making body have to negotiate a deal for safeguarding the minority rights and all these things. So two conditions are there. First condition is more important. Second condition is like this. So first condition is that any province which is not willing to join can have the separate constitution of its own. Who is not willing to join this union? If they're not happy with the union and the way it is working, they can obviously quit. Then meantime, defense of India is in the hands of the British hand. Meantime, we will take care of it. So these are the four major proposal of the Cripps. There will be, what are the departures? Let us see from the past very quickly. So making of the constitution was solely in the hands in the August offer. Oh, sorry, in the Cripps mission. And we have seen in the August offer, it was mainly Indians. That means British may be involved in the Constituent Assembly. So this was the first departure. Concrete plan we have discussed, which was not there in the August offer. Blueprint for any province to have separate constitution. So it was a blueprint for India's partition. Free India can withdraw from the Commonwealth. Indians were allowed to share a larger share in the administration in the interim period. So these are the departures from the past and its implications. Very quickly, what were the objections by the Congress and the Muslim League, and because of which the commission failed? First, the dominion status. Congress not happy dominion status, we have already discussed. Representation from the princely states, they say why nominated? Why not election principles in the princely states? Why still nomination is working? Why the princes are given so much importance? Right of the province to secede, no, it is against national unity. No plan for immediate transfer of power, that is also wrong. Why are not giving any provision for immediate transfer of power? No, this is wrong. And officially this was negotiated by the Nehru and the Maulana Azad from Indian side. What about the Muslim League? Muslim League criticized the idea of the Indian Union. They'll say, why this Indian Union at the first hand? Why we need to create this Indian Union? No. Where is the need of Pakistan? Where is the Pakistan's thing is there? We need a concrete plan for the Pakistan. Remember, their Pakistan resolution has already passed. Creation of a constituent assembly. They say the way constituent assembly has been created, we don't like it. Election and all. Then thought procedure denied the Muslim right of self-determination. And there is no explicit creation of the Pakistan. Though it has a blueprint for the partition, but there is no explicit creation of the Pakistan which is being there. Other groups also will not like it. Other groups don't like the right to secede. Hindu Mahasabha did not like the basis of the right to secede. It is against the unity and integrity of India. Depressed class thought that if transfer of power happens, then the partition would leave them at the mercy of the caste Hindus. That after the partition, these upper class Hindus will become the government and they will keep on repressing the depressed class. The Sikh objected that the partition could take Punjab from them. So these are the problems with the Cripps proposal. Incapacity of the Cripps to go beyond the draft declaration and rigid attitude of take it or leave it attitude. No negotiation attitude. Right? Then nothing happened with the Cripps proposal. That's all. Then it is being said that the British were not serious about it. They have sent Cripps only to delay the process and to appease or to satisfy their allies in the war. The Churchill, Linlithgow, Mr. Ward constantly torpedoes Cripps effect. They did not help the Cripps. Cripps did not find any support from the British leadership, whether in India or abroad. Gandhiji called it a Cripps mission a post-dated check. Nehru pointed out that existing structure and the autocratic power would remain, and a few of us will become viceroys, liveried camp followers, and look like canteens and the likes. Just if you need to remember the quote. So the Cripps returned home, leaving behind a frustrated and embittered Indian people who thought still sympathizing with the victims of the fascist aggression, but felt that the existing situation has become intolerable and the time has come for the final assault on the imperialism. Now Indians are fed up. August offer dekh liya, we have done Indian Satyagraha. Okay, fine, we have given you opportunity. ठीक है, you send a Cripps mission. We thought that you were serious, but you're not serious. Your attitude is very rigid. You have given a blueprint for the partition. You have not talked in detail about how the interim government needs to be given. Still, you're talking about the dominion status. There is no talk of the independent government. So the Indians are now very, very, very embittered. And that sets up the context for the Quit India movement. So Cripps failure of the Cripps mission was basically very, very disappointing. And that led to the India or the Congress to form this Quit India movement. So after the Cripps departure, the Gandhi framed a resolution calling for British withdrawal and a non-violent, non-cooperation movement against any Japanese invasion. Because now the possibility of the Japanese invasion is also coming. Okay? We will see a famine in the Bengal because of this. Very really it was like that because it happened all over the Southeast Asia, all the ASEAN countries. It happened in there, and the British were very worried about it because they have suffered reversals in the Southeast Asia. They thought that India bhi jayega haath se. So CWC meeting at Wardha accepted the idea of the struggle that yes, we should go ahead and do the struggle. The question is why to start a struggle now? First, failure of the Cripps Commission we have seen. So exposed British unchanged attitude, made clear that silence, if we are making silence, so then British are free to decide the India's fate. Then a lot of discontent was there because of the World War II, price rise, right? Taxes, scorched earth policy. We'll discuss what the scorched earth policy is. Against the possible Japanese invasion. Leadership wanted to condition the masses for the Japanese invasion. Then racist attitude. Then falling kingdom. That okay, what happens if the Japanese invade and the British leave without doing anything? We need to quit, make sure that they quit, and we set up our own government. Uh, we strengthen our own defenses. We cannot trust these Britishers. Hence, we need to act now. Quit India movement was based in that context. So the context is not only that Cripps mission has failed. No, that is thing that is there. But biggest threat was the Japanese threat. Some people argue if it was a series of coincidences. In fact, that was one battle, that is Battle of Kohima. We will discuss in the next session. If that was not the Battle of Kohima, if the Japanese would have won that Battle of Kohima, we would be learning, we'll be discussing this lecture in Japanese, not in English today. Right? Japanese we'll be discussing, not English. So such a huge thing. Hence, you can see, what is scorched earth policy? Let us discuss that. Now imagine India, this is the Japanese threat which is coming. Ki Japanese by after taking over from Japan, after taking over Southeast Asia, these people are coming here. Scorched earth policy says that how these soldiers live. First of all, they need to have the supplies with them. But if they don't have the supply, what they do? They target a place and they use the supply which is here. For example, the crops there, the any buffer is there, any storage is there, they'll take over it and they'll feed on it. So what the other used to do, what the other people used to do, they used to, if we are fearing, British is fearing that Japanese are coming from this side, what they will do in these areas, they will burn everything. If the crops are there, they'll take away all the crops, all the food they'll take away from there. This is known as the scorched earth policy. That means if the Japanese soldiers come here, they will not find anything to eat. So what we do, we in a way defeat the Japanese or the other party soldiers by denying them the supplies. This is known as the scorched earth policy. You must have read this same policy in the what happened in the East Pakistan in 1971. The what your West Pakistan has done to the East Pakistan. So this is known this scorched earth policy. It's a very old policy. It's a very old war time policy. Then Quit India movement resolution has come. In July 1944-42, Congress Working Committee met at Wardha, resolved that it would authorize Gandhi to take charge of the non-violent mass movement we discussed, which is known as the Quit India resolution. So the meeting resolved to demand an immediate end of the British rule first, declare commitment of Free India to defend itself against all type of fascism and imperialism, form a provisional government, sanction a civil disobedience movement against the British rule, and Gandhi was named the leader of the struggle. So this was the Quit India resolution, and that is why it is considered as one of the Gandhian movements. because Gandhi was considered as the leader of the struggle. Now, Gandhi has given some instructions to all the section of society. Ki bhai, for every section of society, Gandhi has given some instructions, different instructions. This is important for prelims perspective because some of the instructions are important. So, for students, leave study is very easy. Government servants do not resign. ठीक याद रखना, for government servants do not resign but declare their allegiance to Congress. For peasants, if the zamindar is anti-government, then pay the rent. If they are pro-government, don't pay the rent. If they're supporting the government, don't pay them the rent, the zamindars. But if they're anti-government, help them, because zamindar will also are also part of our struggle against the British. So pay them something. Princely states accept the sovereignty of the people and support masses. Princely state people support ruler only and only if he is anti-government. Same idea. Declare that to be the part of Indian nation. Soldiers do not leave army again. So these 2 points you need to remember. For the government servants, do not resign. For soldiers, do not leave the army. But do not fire at their compatriots. Those who are protesting, don't fire at them. So these were the Gandhi's instructions to different section of the society at the Quit India movement, before starting of the Quit India movement. Gandhi followed with a very not famous extortion. There is a mantra, a short one with that I'll give you. You may imprint in your heart and let every breath of yours give expression to it. That is do or die. Very famous mantra of the Gandhi at the Quit India movement. We shall either free India or die in the attempt. We shall not live to see perpetuation of our slavery. Gandhi ji is now very articulate about his demand. Okay? Now the spread of the movement. Now, very interesting. The very next day, when the Quit India movement was supposed to start, the British came down and they arrested the top leadership. The top leadership code they have taken away. Now what you will do? What the leadership will do? Top leadership now is in jail or sent to unknown location so that people cannot protest against their arrest, because people do not know where is Gandhi, where is Nehru. Right? All the India Congress committee, provincial committee, all were deemed or were discussed as illegal. Aruna Asif Ali presided over the Congress committee. Aruna Asif Ali, who was the second in the hierarchy of leadership. So all the top leadership went away in the jail. This is the Congress. This is top leadership, very famous national leadership. They are all in jail. So the second level leadership, Aruna Asif Ali, JP, and all these people came in. And these are the people who have made the Quit India movement possible, because top leadership is in jail. Public became on rampage. They attacked the symbols of authority, burned bridges, a lot of strikes in the college, schools, worker strike, and a lot of things happen. That happens in almost all the movements. Very important component of the Quit India movement was the underground activity. Why? Because the British are hunting the leaders like anything. Top leadership already gone. They're hunting for the second level leadership also. So they have to do some underground activity. Right? So many nationalists went underground, just like in emergency, 1975. They go underground to took the subversive activity. These participants in these activity were socialists, forward bloc, Gandhi ashramites, revolutionaries, local organizations, and these people. Mainly important leader, that is Ram Manohar Lohia, JP, Aruna Asif Ali, Usha Mehta, Biju Patnaik, Chotu Bhai Patnaik, Sucheta Kriplani. So you need to remember 3 to 4 names, at least 3 to 4 names. Usha Mehta is very important name. Usha Mehta, Aruna Asif Ali, these are the very important names that you need to remember. Right? This phase of underground activity was meant to keep the morale of the people up and provide a line of command and guidance to arms and ammunition, propaganda, letting the people know what is happening. So coordinating with different things. Again, a very important feature of the Quit India movement was the parallel governments. Parallel governments, that is being bombed in Balia in UP, Tamluk in Midnapur, Satara in Maharashtra. So these were the parallel government. For example, this is the normal government is going on at Delhi, but Naxalites in India and the current, they form their own parallel government. They do not believe in the existing government and they form the government of their own. That is known as the parallel government. So in Balia for a week, the some Chittu Pandey, under the leadership of Chittu Pandey, the parallel government was there. Then Tamluk Jatiya Sarkar, they did the good works, cyclone relief, they caught Congress leader released. Satara Prati Sarkar under the YB Chauhan and Nana Patil, village libraries and Nayadan mandals were organized, prohibition campaigns were laid out. So these are the parallel governments which is made. Active help was provided by the businessman, students, small villagers, train driver, and all everyone. You can read it. Very easy. Chalo. Extent of the mass participation, if we talk about, so youth, they're in forefront. Women, we have seen Urna Asif Ali, Kriplani, Usha Mehta. Workers went on strike. Peasants thrashed the symbol of authority. Jamindar, we have discussed. Government official, especially lower rug officials, their government loyalty was declining. Political party, this is a very important idea. First, the communist. Communists, why the communists did not participate in the Quit India movement? Because the World War II was between the Allied powers versus the Axis powers. Right? Now, Allied power is Britain, and one important in the Allied is the Russia, USSR, I should say. USSR was based upon the communist ideas. So the communists in India believed, or USSR and China both here. So they say that we will not, they did not join because Russia and Britain were fighting against the Nazis. So they say that if we support the Quit India movement, we will be acting against the British and hence against the Allied, in which the Russia is also there or USSR is also there. So in a way, by not supporting in the Quit India movement, we are supporting the USSR, which is more important. Communist. Muslim League also opposed. They say, agar Quit India ho gaya, if Quit India and based upon the Congress call, then what will happen? What about our Pakistan? What will happen to minorities? What will happen to Muslims? Nothing will happen. The Congress will only and only exploit us. Hindu Mahasabha also boycotted Quit India movement. They did not like ki, bhai, what these people are doing. This is a good time for us to recoup ourselves, to make Indians strong. What we are doing, this is wrong. They also boycotted the Congress call of the Quit India movement. From princely states also, there was a very low key response from the princess side. So this is the extent of the mass participation. Government obviously came down very heavily, as they always do. Although martial laws were not applied, repression was severe. Number of killed, around 10,000 people were killed. Military took over many cities. Secret police reigned supreme. Religious villages were fined heavily. In many villages, mass flogging was done. Mass flogging means just some physical punishment being given to the people. So this was the government response to the Quit India movement. If we evaluate the movement very quickly, there was no leadership. We have discussed, as the top leadership went into jail. So no, because the second level leadership was there, there was no restraint. So violence was a lot. Violence was there. It's very high spontaneity of the movements, right? The initiative was subject to the limitations of the instructions because they are working on the basis of the underground activity. So people do not have a proper guidance with respect to how the movement should be led, despite the efforts of the second level leadership. Extent main centers were Eastern UP, Bihar, Midnapur, Maharashtra, Karnataka. The backbones were the students and the peasant movements, but still the upper class and the bureaucracy were still loyal to the British, which is a big problem. For example, Hindu Mahasabha. For example, the upper level bureaucracy, still they are pro-British. The significance was people displayed heroism and militancy. Demand for independence on immediate agenda has become. Quit India has made that we need independence. That's all. It also gave an indication to the Britishers. Now the Indians will not stop before they take their own share of the power. They will not stop. The Indians will not stop at any cost. Gandhi has to take up the fast because of the violence of the state, to condemn against the violence of the state. Gandhi started a fast as an answer to extortion by the government to condemn the violence. Protests were organized at home and abroad through Hartal, demonstration, strike. 3 members of the Viceroy Executive Council resigned because of what are the violence being committed by the government itself, state. Violence from the side of the people and then the violence by the government. The fast achieved the following. Public morale was raised. Anti-basis, the fast by the Gandhi. Anti-British feeling heightened. An opportunity was provided for political activity. Government's high-handedness was exposed. Gandhi got better of the opponents and refused to oblige by dying. Right. And on parallelly, 23rd March, we'll discuss somewhere else. 1943, Pakistan Day was observed. Muslim League did not participate in the Quit India movement. Chalo. Now comes the, so this is done with the Quit India movement. So Quit India movement is very important with respect to your mains. We'll discuss one question also. I'll give you for practice, not this session, but later on, I'll give you one question on the Quit India with respect to mains. Quit India may from prelims perspective, which is important. For example, some very objective things, parallel governments, features, we have discussed a few features, response of the political party, take parallel governments, features, response of the political party. These are the few things that are important for the Quit India movement. ठीक है, चलो. Now comes the famine of the 1943. Famine of the 1943. It has obviously because of the scorched earth policy by the British, because they believe that from here the Japanese are coming and this is the place we need to do the scorched earth policy. So they diverted the foodstuff to feed the army. Rice imports stopped from the Burma in the Southeast Asia. And apart from the other reasons for the mismanagement and profiteering being related to rationing and confined to big cities. So that led to famine in the Bengal. Severely affected Southwest Bengal, Dhaka, Noakhali, Faridpur, areas in the Bengal, severely affected with famine. Approximately 1.5 to 3 million people perished. Imagine 15 lakh to 30 lakh people died. Such a horrific incident. Some people say that Winston Churchill, so many people informed Winston Churchill about this news. So Winston Churchill had the reply that if that is so much problem, why does Gandhi does not die? Gandhi क्यों नहीं मरता? Right? He knew that this famine is going to come, but he did not act. And that is why a lot of scholars, including Shashi Tharoor, call Winston Churchill as the mass murderer, because this famine was man-made. He could have avoided this famine because of the diversion, mismanagement. Imagine 1.5 million to 3 million people died. Very, very important event. Now, on the one hand, on the other hand, after the Crips failure, in both within India now, within Indians, both Congress and the Muslim League realized that we can see that why August offer failed and why Crips mission failed. We ourselves are not coming to an agreement that what needs to be done. If we have the common stand, we can go to the British and we can negotiate. Hence, a lot of people come up with their different program ki bhai aise kar sakte hain, this thing we can do. One of the major good plans was the C. Rajaji formula, Rajagopalachari formula. In essence, Rajagopalachari formula talked about ki let us go Muslim League and Congress, let us go as a single unit, don't go as a two unit, go in front of the British. First thing British should do, leave India. Then the Muslim League and the Congress will have some sort of agreement within themselves. So once the British leave India, then we will do the division wala thing, Muslim League and the Congress. So you can see the C. Rajagopali formula has a tacit acceptance कि भाई Pakistan needs to be formed. Pakistan will be formed. We will cater to the demands of the Muslim League. But first they need to represent themselves as a single unit. As a single unit, the Muslim League and the Congress have to come together. ठीक? Then the British will leave India, then Muslim League and the Congress will share the power and will decide how many provinces to be given, which subjects need to be taken and other things. But the first condition, let the British get out of India. It was a good idea. Chalo, very jaldi. So Gandhi had the support of the Sirajaji formula. It was a tacit acceptance of the League's demand of the Pakistan. Yes. If you do not accept the League's demand of the Pakistan, what will happen? Obviously, League will not come together. So Muslim League before first hand has to endorse the Congress demand, that is full independence in the forming of a provisional government. Then later on, plebiscite in the Muslim majority areas will be taken out. If the partition is accepted, agreement for safeguarding for defense, commerce and communication, right? There will be one common center will be there, according to C. Rajaji. Yes, we will give you the Pakistan, but there won't be common center with respect to communication, with respect to defense, with respect to foreign relations. Tick. And this formula will be operative if and only if transfer of power is fully given to India first by the British. Obviously, Jinnah will not like it. Jinnah wanted Congress to accept the two nation theory, and he wanted only the Muslims of the Northeast and the Northeast to vote in the plebiscite later on, not the entire population. But the Congress leadership and the Sirajaji said, no, everyone will vote. Let us know uh, the will of the people, what they want to do. And the Hindu leaders such as Veer Savarkar condemned the CR plan. Because why the Hindu leaders will condemn it? Because of the acceptance of the that in the future there can be Pakistan. They did not like it. They still do not like the idea. They still believe in the idea of the Khand Bharat. Obviously, they cannot like this thing. In between, some other efforts have also come that is similar to Desai Liaquat Pact, Bhula Bhai Desai and Liaquat Ali Khan. Now, because the major leaders were in jail or busy somewhere else, so Mr. Bhulabhai Desai has said talk to Liaquat Ali Khan of Muslim League and he from representing the Congress. They say, अच्छा चलो एक काम करते हैं, let us form an interim government at the central government, central legislature. And the Muslims and the Hindus, sorry, the Congress and the League will appoint the equal number of people to the government. And will provide 20% reservation to the minorities. But nothing significant happened. There was no follow up on the Desai Liaquat Pact. Nothing was there. With respect to Sirajaji formula, Gandhi ji and Jinnah did met, and Jinnah had these objections to it. Okay? So Gandhi ji endorsed the Sirajaji formula and they have met. Bhulabhai Desai and Liaquat Pact are not important. But we need to know the provisions of it. Ki bhai, what was being discussed in this particular pact. Okay? Chalo, Wewell plan. Now war is coming to an end. They can see that this Hitler is being defeated, almost defeated. Reversals are starting to happen. They have cracked the code of the Hitler. There is a very famous movie, Alan Turing. Alan Turing, I'm not sure that this is the movie name of the movie, but Alan Turing was a scientist. It's a very good movie. And just forget, I think Mr. Cumberbatch has led the role. A lot of students must have seen this movie. Brilliant movie, because that movie shows that how he was able to decode how the Hitler was, or how the Nazis used to send their messages to the U-boats in the Atlantic Ocean, and how when the British cracked that code, when they used to hack this code from that used to go from Germany to their U-boat, they found out those U-boats and they destroyed those U-boats, British. And that was the starting of the reversal of the war. Mr. Alan Turing was the one who designed that machine. It's a brilliant movie. I'll search for that movie and I'll let you know. It's a good movie. One should watch it. Chalo. The actor that plays the role of the Doctor Strange in the Marvel Avenger movie, not Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange. He is also the main protagonist of this movie. Chalo. So, though the war in the Europe come to an end and Japanese threat still remained, the conservative government in the Britain led by the Churchill was keen to reach the solution on the constitutional question. Mr. Wavell was permitted to negotiate with the Indians, and then the Congress leaders were released from the jail. Congress leaders were put into jail, then they were released. Chalo. So, why the government is keen on solution? The first question in that. Now the war is almost over. Take. Now, elections in the England is supposed to happen. Conservatives wanted to be seen as sincere on reaching a solution, because now conservatives have led the war. Mr. Winston Churchill is a war hero. He's a war hero, and now he is again seeking the re-election. And by sending the Wavell plan, they want to show that yes, see what we are trying to go for the constitutional advancement. Pressure from the allies to seek further Indian cooperation for the war, especially the Japanese invasion, diverting the British Indian energies into the channels that are profitable for the British. Tick. And again, delay and deny the same strategy. Some of the major provisions, let us discuss one by one. I will say after watching this session, Cripps mission and Wavell Co. Read from the spectrum again. Okay? So as it will solidify all the points. So Wavell plan says that within the executive council of the Governor General, all members will be Indian except the Governor General and the Commander in Chief. Everyone else will be Indian. There will be two posts which will not be Indian. First. Second point, within this, the Hindus and Muslim will be equally represented. Third, the council will function as the interim government. This council itself, Hindu and Muslim equal to British, they will function as the interim government by the Act of 1935. That means they will not be responsible to the legislature. Then the Governor General will veto on the advice of the ministers. Again, the veto is given to the Governor General. Then the parties will submit a joint list to the Viceroy for nomination to the Executive Council, if not separate list. Because now the question is not on the council reforms. The question is to form the government at an executive, and at the central level the question has become, leave aside the province में तो हमने government बना दी, we have formed the government and we have left it, we have resigned from it. Now the question is at the Indian participation at the executive level, which is very important. The party will submit the joint list for Viceroy for nomination. Possibility of the new constitution once the war is over. Once the war is over, the new constitution will be, we'll see the possibility that can be done or not. Now, both Muslim League and the Congress will have the problem. Congress will say this Hindu Muslim, why this issue is coming. Congress say that we do not. League will say that why the Muslims needs to be sent, and only we will send the Muslims. Muslim League will send the Muslims. Congress will say, agar if you do this, that will go out to that will showcase that Congress is majorly a Hindu body or a Hindu party only, which is not. We represent the interest of the all, and you have or you have considered us only and only as our Hindu body. No, this is wrong. And Muslim League as the Muslim body. So again, communal tensions. So let us see the stands very quickly. So Congress saw it an attempt to reduce Congress to a pure caste Hindu party, instead of insisted on the rights to include all communities members among its nominees. That Congress nominates a few members and they can nominate all the members, Hindus, Muslim and the other communities. Muslim League wanted all the Muslim members to be League nominees. Other minorities' interests were same as the Congress, feared it would reduce the League to one-third minority, and League wanted a veto in the council. That if we veto anything, that it should not be passed. So again, divergent demands. The Wavell announced the breakdown of the talks, thus leaving League a virtual veto. Wavell was not very enthusiastic with respect to the demands, right? And the Muslim League thought that if we want this veto and if we stick to us and if nothing is said to us, then they will. So basically it is being said that Jinnah is not riding a tiger which he himself cannot stop, the communal agenda. Even if Jinnah wants, right, he cannot do anything, because now this is far too much. It boosted the Jinnah's position because now the League has got the virtual veto. Now Congress is being termed as the Hindu body, or being seen perception wise, or Muslim League representing the interest of the Muslim, and the real character of the conservative government of the Churchill is being shown, because this is what exactly Churchill wants to do: divide India and make India a balkanization of India directly, right? So this is your Wavell plan. So with respect to this, our discussion is over. So what we have discussed till now, let us quickly summarize it and then we'll finish. Next session is going to be a relatively small session where we'll talk about the INA, very small session. Then we'll move on further. Now today we have talked about, it's a relatively long session. We have talked about in the starting Cripps mission. After the individual satyagraha, something has to be done. Why the Cripps mission has to be sent? Because of the reversals which are happening at the Hitler front and also the Japanese occupation of the India from the northeast, Indian northeast. Cripps mission was sent. Cripps mission was already torpedoed by the Winston Churchill. He did not want anything to be done, but just to tell their allies something that yes, we have done something. They have said, okay, send Cripps ko send kar do. So Cripps has been sent. Cripps, nothing was done. Then Quit India movement. Quit India movement we have discussed in detail. Parallel governments, second tier leadership, underground activities, no top leaders, leaderless movement, a lot of violence, parallel governments, and these are the features of the Quit India movement. Gandhi then fasts, famine of 1943, then scorches policy we have seen. Then we have seen next step, that is the some of the individual steps, see Raja Gopalachari formulas, Desai Liaquat Pact, then finally the Revolt's plan. So that is why 1940s is one of the critical debate and the most important decade in your modern history papers. Okay? So with this, we finish today's session and see you all in the next session. Bye bye till now. Thank you everyone. See you all in the next class.